Oh, hi. Hello there. This is Juandono here. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic is about storytelling. You like stories? Obviously do, right? You like storytelling? Maybe yes, maybe not. You like analyzing stories? Certainly not. Okay. So that's why I invite you to this topic today. How to analyze a story, how to analyze a narrative. Once you listen to this lecture about analyzing stories, then you would be able to analyze the story and see the parts of a story so that in the end, you will not only enjoy the story, but also you can analyze the story. Okay, let's dive to my presentation.
Okay, so this is the topic for today is generic structure of narrative. Narrative, is a story. So we are going to analyze a story. We are going to see its parts. You know that generic structure refers to how the information is presented in a piece of discourse. Okay, let's start. So generic structure of a narrative is like this. Um, you have abstract orientation, complicating action, resolution, coda, and evaluation. Abstract usually is the start or the beginning of a story. It tells the readers or the listeners that story is coming. Something like when you say, "Hey, I've got an interesting story." Yeah, that is an abstract. That's the very beginning of a story. Yeah. Um, and then it is followed by orientation. Orientation is where the writer describes the setting, the characters, the main characters, the place, the time. That's orientation. Then followed by complicating action. This is where you can feel the tensions increasing from one scene to another or from one page to another, from one part to another. You can feel that there is an increasing tension. There is a conflict, rising conflict. Yeah, this is where complicating action takes place. When you see that or when you feel that the tension is getting higher and higher and the thrill is increasing, then it's a complicating action. And then it's a resolution. Resolution is actually where the complicating action is resolved. That's actually the climax, the end of the story. That's resolution. Okay. And then you have coda. Coda is actually where the storyteller or the writer brings you back to the present moment, takes you out from the story into the present moment. He or she would say, okay, so that's the story about Red Riding Hood, for example. Yeah. Or that's the story about the blind from the cave, si buta dari gua hantu. Yeah. That's coda. Coda is actually marks the end of the story. Yeah. So you have abstract orientation, complicating action, resolution, coda, and evaluation is actually a comment from the writer about the way the things or the events unfold in the story. But for the time being, we are not going to discuss this in detail. Let's focus on the previous elements from abstract to coda. Now let me show you a narrative with its parts. Um, so the storyteller would start with, this is a story about a man in pursuit of happiness. This is the abstract, that marks the beginning of a story. And then he continues, or she continues, yeah. One day there was a man named Jim Bowie who lived in Copenhagen, Denmark. This is the orientation. This is where the main character is introduced, the setting, the place is introduced. Yeah. Jim lived a luxurious life, but he seldom felt happy. He worked harder to earn more, but he still didn't feel happy. He gave a lot to charities, but he felt empty. Finally, he was desperate and began contemplating suicide. Now you can feel that there is a complicating action here. You can feel that the thrill, the tension is increasing from one sentence to the next. So that's complicating action. Now let's the continuation of that story. As he set out to end his life, he ran into a wise old man. This wise man seemed to sense his deep trouble and asked him how he could help. Jim asked, I have been feeling so unhappy, I want to die. How can I be happy? I want happiness. The old man said, so you said, I want happiness? Okay, first remove the word I, because that's your ego. Then remove the word want, because that's desire. So there you have it, happiness. You cannot be happy with your ego and desire still burning hot inside you. And this is the resolution. This is the where the complicating action is brought to an end, is resolved here. You can see that the tension is going down. Yeah, it's finally resolved with this old man's wise advice. Yeah. So that's the story of a man who wants happiness. It is the coda. Okay. So that's simple. From abstract to coda, you know that that is how you analyze a narrative or a story. Thank you.